What's going on, everybody? This your boy King. Yeah, excuse me. I, I didn't plan that one there. Like, guess I had too much Subway there. But anyway, it's your boy King Gabe. King Gabe here. Say, and we're about to go once again into more of the Heroes of Dream Anniversary movie book. And you know why by this point I call it a movie book, because that's how I feel about it. Say, let's see, trying to see what we left off at here. Okay, so we read up to. Oh yeah, read up. Oh, we read by. Okay, so we covered the intro on day one on part one, and then day two we read there was a that was actually before the story. So it was a segment called Before the Story that we read. Um, then on part two read a before the story had was pretty lengthy. We read we started the official story with an introduction of the files being updated, and then 5 chapters of it. So now we are at chapter 6, where they're fixing to go to the hero convention. There, remember the hero convention was first mentioned way back in book number 8, during the Halloween during the Halloween little event that they had at their school, and Brian won tickets to it as a prize. So he invited. So pretty much the boys went with him to the con and everything. So yeah, there's a little tear on it there. Oh boy. So uh yeah, I had to fix that there. So yeah, pretty much trying to see if I got any tape in here. Lord have mercy, because I was a little skeptical about that tear there. Let's see, I think I should. Hang on a second there. Hang on, I think I should have a little tape. So, yeah, it's pretty much what we've read so far. And I really thought I had some tape in here. So, okay. Give me just a second. I'm going to be right back. Let me put a little bookmark here. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. All right, I'm back. Not exactly the tape I was looking for, but this will have to do. It is a strong tape. I was just really looking for just some regular office tape, since it's just a piece of, because it's just a small paper tear. But yeah, I guess if I can get it out here. So so yeah, that's pretty much as far as we had gotten. If I if I can get this tape to tear right here. So yeah, and this is actually ironic. This is actually a pretty good time. I know we started last weekend, but continuing it here in October is actually a pretty good timing, because, as we all know, Halloween is in October, and they are going to a hero convention where everybody be dressed up in costumes, just like how we do on Halloween. And also, a couple months ago, what we did at GeekCon. Make sure you check that movie out on the channel, and also on the one EJS, he has his his adventures with GeekCon, because he was actually because he see, me and Christina, we only went there one day, which was Saturday. Because I called myself was just gonna go, because I figured, like, well, all the actions on Saturday, so we'll just go one day this year. And yeah, I think, yeah, next year we're gonna try to go the whole weekend. So yeah, definitely gonna do that. So that helped out. So yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing that next weekend. So yeah, that so it's ironic that we had GeekCon a couple weeks ago, and now we're in Halloween, gonna be dressing up again, and they're dressing up here, whole superhero thing going. So yeah, this is actually a very ironic turn of events. Not to mention that the tickets for this HeroCon were given out during a Halloween event at their school, like I mentioned before. So yeah, and it's possible I'm gonna try to make maybe if it's no more than shorts or possibly some other videos. Just all depends because I got some other videos lined up to drop, like how I met Casey, and then a couple of re-uploads. But who knows? I'm if depending on how things go, and I'm still writing book number 4 of Yumiko that I just started on, so I'm trying to really get that done. But if things available, I probably could get some Halloween shorts. Just all depends on what comes to mind, and what my time be like there from week to week, as well as possibly some edited Halloween videos. And like I said, I know the Scooby Doo uh, review is definitely going to be dropped on Halloween, so that will be at least something for it, if nothing else. But yeah, we'll definitely try to do a few other things there if we can there, along with keeping you updated on the book writing. And yeah, chances are it's I'm not it's a little unsure if I'll be able to do any more Yu-Gi-Oh manga this month. I'm not saying that I'm not going to read any more of it. I still want to continue reading the Yu-Gi-Oh manga. I'm just not sure about this month because of me working with the novel and stuff like that, and then still trying to keep other things going. So yeah, but like I say, just bear with me on that Yu-Gi-Oh manga because I really do want to get through it with you guys there, but straight through because I have not. Like I say, I have read the Yu-Gi-Oh manga before, but I've never read it straight through. From beginning to finish, I've read like parts of the beginning, like season 0 and stuff like that, and then parts of the Duelist one, but never like the entire thing issue by issue there. So that's so yeah, I'm definitely still planning to do that. Even like I say, not this month. I would try as soon as I finish Yumiko 4. I would try to get back to it if I don't be done it sooner. So yeah, so just bear with me on that. But at least you got me reading this here. So let's go on into this. There, rambled enough. Read the summary one more time for anyone who hasn't seen part 1 and 2. Definitely check those out. The rise of a heroic conqueror in a warping reality. 10 years ago, before the adventures of the Dream League, there were disturbances in the flow of the universes, causing all of them to have various collisions with one another, and now it's happening again. In order to find the source to stop this, the Dream League is going to need some backup and a possible cameo guest star. We could all cease to exist, find out what happens in this anniversary special, and continue to follow the adventure in Book 11 coming soon, which, yes, we will read that after this anniversary special is completed. So and the way I was reading through it almost sounded like the mic almost made me think of the Micro Machine guy, but I think he talks a lot faster. So all right, so let's get on into this. Chapter 6, the heroic assembly. After the video chat, Floyd, Ellen, Nose, and the boys went into the hotel restaurant to eat. Gotta get something to eat. Like Nose say, Toons gotta eat too. Shortly after that, they got ready for the Hero Convention at the New Orleans Convention Center next door. Sort of like how we have a hotel right next to the Shreveport Convention Center down here. Each one got dressed in a costume of their choice. Floyd's costume was Captain America, leader of the group called the Avengers in Marvel Comics. There, costume looked like a soldier. I know a lot of y'all probably know what it looks like, but yeah, I actually wrote down what it looked like just in case there was a reader who didn't know. Looked like a soldier uniform that was red, white, and blue. The red, white, and blue. He also had a magic shield with a star on it. Nose put on his costume from earlier, which was the costume of one of Captain America's best friends, the Falcon. So now we know what Nose was dressed up like in case you didn't know from earlier there. Oh, all right, everyone. All right, everyone, said Floyd. Sound like a drill sergeant as he and Nose stepped out. It's time to assemble. Imagine him trying to imitate the Captain America voice. All right, it's time to assemble. I will now have my good friend and second in command Falcon call you forth. When he calls your name, come out and state your superhero name and your abilities. Its Nose took out a checklist and pen. Samuel Lee Princeton, he started. Almost kind of reminded me of the first Transformers G1 80s episode when Jazz was doing that roll call for everybody. Say, Mirage, Bumblebee, Sunstreak, Ironhide, Ratchet. Say, Autobots, roll out. Samuel marched out into position in his costume. Sir, yes, sir, says Samuel. I am Food Cat from the IT Comics. I have high martial arts, the extreme reflexes, agility, and the ability to use most food items as useful weapons, sir. Yeah. So this is there's Floyd Bruno's dad as Captain America. Say with next to Nose as the Falcon there. And Samuel dressed up like the Food Cat there, obviously with some face paint there. Mm. Nose set his checklist and pinned down and approached Samuel, saying, "So you claim to have high martial arts skills with extreme reflexes and agility? Well, young man or cat, as you say, I don't believe you telling me the truth. Prove yourself to me right now, or give me 50. Sir, yes, sir. I'll prove my honest ability," says Samuel. Samuel briefly and swiftly showed his martial arts in great sync and timing. And to finish off, he surprised Nose by swinging him down and placed him in a holding position. "You have proven your honest ability," said Nose. "Now release the second in command." "Yes, sir." He released Nose. After Nose got back up into place, he picked up his checklist and pen and called the next person. Brian Valentino Robinson. Brian marched down his costume into position in his costume and said, "Sir, yes, sir. I am Mega Man from the Nintendo and Capcom game Mega Man. I have a high level of endurance and the ability to fly and fire large blasts of energy, and I can access certain powers from other robots." Yeah, I remember like Mega Man, the video games. I think the Mega Man game I played growing up, I think was Mega Man 6, with Dr. Wily and Dr. X and then Dr. Wily. And he had to face all these different anybody who played Mega Man 6, he had to face the different robots that were going renegade again. You had Yamato Man, Centaur Man, Wind Man, Blizzard Man, Flame Man, Night Man. There's 6 of them there. I think it was 8 of them. Night Man, Flower Man. Yes, there was a Flower Man. Yeah, he was pretty dangerous. Let's see, wait. Okay, let me start again. It was okay. Flame Man, Blizzard Man, Wind Man, Flower Man, Tomahawk Man. Yeah, Tomahawk Man. They all were pretty tough, but that Tomahawk Man really tore me up at times. Centaur Man, Yamato Man, and I think there was one other. I'm trying to see. Let me bring them up there. There's one. I know it's 8 of them there, but I can't say it's one. Let's see the 8 robots in Mega Man 6. Okay, here we are. Blizzard Man, uh, the Centaur Man, Flame Man, Night Man, Plant Man, actually. So he's not, oh, it's Plant Man. Uh, Tomahawk Man, Wind Man, and Yamata Man. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, there we go. And then you had to go face Dr. X and then Dr. Wily. So yeah. So here's Nose and Samuel having a bit of a little martial arts match there. And Brian in his Mega Man costume. And as you notice, one little thing I sort of did differently with him as Mega Man, yeah, sort of made it like, make Energy Blast sort of similar to how they do in DBZ there. Like the Kamehameha. Okay. Eddie Soldier. And no, Calvin Waynes. Calvin marched into position in his costume. Say, sir, yes, sir, said Calvin. I am Link from the Nintendo game, The Legend of Zelda. Oh, y'all know about Legend of Zelda. Well, excuse me, princess. I have a magic sword and shield and a magic bow and arrow. My abilities allow me to access magic from various sources. And also, anybody who's followed Channel Awesome knows that in the Suburban Nights movie, the critic dressed up like Link, and yeah, so it was kind of a cringing joke there. I'm not gonna say here because this is family friendly, but yeah, if you're like, well, what was it, Gabe? Go watch. Go watch. I think they should still have it up on YouTube. Suburban Nights. I think you can see it like the whole movie as one, or you can see it broken up in parts there. But it still should be up there on their on Channel Awesome's YouTube page there, or either somebody uploading it there. So yeah, just Suburban Nights. Search for that on YouTube. You should be able to find it. Eddie Soldiers and Nose. Riley Jones. Riley marched into position in his costume. Sir, yes, sir, said Riley. I am Peter Pan, the warrior of Neverland who will never grow up. Wait a minute, said Calvin. How is Peter Pan a superhero? Let's see, there's the pictures of him, and I guess we're about to find out how that is possible. I mean, technically, you could count Peter Pan as a superhero. I mean, like I say, technically speaking, the boy doesn't grow up, so that's kind of a power there. Uh, and some might say an anti-hero. They, I didn't really think that's just something that really came to me. But yeah, you could consider Peter Pan a hero in a way, in his own way. Say, take that to what you think. He saved Wendy and Princess Tiger Lily from the pirates of Captain Hook, explained Riley. That's just a regular hero. That's just regular hero, said Calvin. Oh boy. Now they started to sound like that His He episode with Batman and Superman talking to Super Mario. He's like, I'm not the little. Who are you? It's me, Mario. Seriously, you didn't see this guy? Like, of course I can see him. I can see everything. So, what are you doing here, Mario? I'm hanging out with my people, the superhero. Wait, what? I'm the superhero. No. Like, I rescued the princess. I'm sorry, but rescuing a princess from an unlocked castle doesn't really count as a superhero. Yeah, that's just regular hero. In the game, it says Super Mario. You are Superman. I am Super Mario. It is the same. We are the same. We are not the same. Okay, I don't need to eat weird plants in order to get powers. Like, I can throw fire, so I can be invincible for a limited time. Yes, I can swim at the water for a very long. We are not the same. And then just look at here. I have no powers, but I wear a costume. Let's not get carried away. I don't wear raccoon ears in the tail because of Batman. See a difference? No, we all the same. Well, I got nothing. So, yeah, kind of making me think of that there. Yeah, look that up on his he YouTube channel there. So, so he's like, that's just a regular hero, said Calvin. Oh, and Link isn't considered a regular hero, said Riley. He got superpowers. Well, so does Peter Pan. He can fly, only with fairy dust. Well, at least that. Well, at least his name gets to be the title of the story. Oh, said Fabulous Brian. Oh, you did not go there. No. Ooh, Riley. He said at least his name gets to be in the title of the story. Yeah, because we Link is a popular character, but yet Zelda's name is on the title. Ouch! Burn! Lloyd blew the whistle in order to get them in order. That's enough. Like Cap said, that's enough. He started. He started it, whispered Riley. Calvin heard him whisper back, well, excuse me. Ahem, interrupted Nose. Everybody got quiet, and he looked at Riley and said, continue. Okay. What Riley began. As I was saying, I am Peter Pan, the warrior from Neverland who will never grow up. I can fly with grace and swiftness. And Riley took out his iPhone and played the music to the song I Got a Crow. Oh, yeah, because we did this at our school play of Peter Pan. Do, do. He began to sing part of it there. Who? Okay, wrong song. He said, I got a crow. Cock-a-doodle-doo. I'm just the cleverest fellow towards ever my fortune to know. Cock-a-doodle-doo. I can climb trees and play tag with the breeze in the meadows below. I got a crow. I gotta brag. Cock-a-doo-doo. I think it's sweet. I have fingers and feet. I can wiggle and wag. Cock-a-doo-doo. I'm just a something. I kind of forgot those words there. I got a crow. Then the chorus joined in. I got a crow. Do, 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 do. I just the cleverest fellow toys ever my fortune to know. Cock-a-doodle-doo! I can play truth tag. I can do breeze and play tag with the breeze in the meadows below. I got a crow. And then in the middle of the second verse, there was a cock-a-doodle. I got a crow. Do, 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 do. As he sang the song with great delight, there was total silence from the others as they admired Riley's awesome singing ability. Then the music ended and Riley bowed as everyone applauded. Spectacular performance, said Riley, said Floyd. Thank you, said Riley. It was from my school play last year. Yeah, and my school play back in the 5th grade, but I didn't get to play Peter Pan. I got casted as a lost boy. But yeah, I didn't now this did not occur to me back as a kid. I was kind of a little disappointed. I was like, why couldn't I play Peter Pan? But yeah, looking back at myself in the 5th grade, especially in the 4th grade, to be honest, 4th and 5th grade, that's when I think 4th grade I actually did I had started getting chubby, and yeah, it carried over into 5th and 6th grade as well as middle school, and well, you know. So that's when I first got started getting chubby, and that probably why because the costume that Peter Pan had to wear involved tights, and probably would not have done so well on me. I mean, first thing somebody might think, well, why don't you just wear pants? Well, let's just say I'm just going to assume that the drama teacher was trying to go authentic Peter Pan as he, well, authentic Peter Pan with tights there. So, yeah, so that's why somebody else got cast instead of me. Because, like I say again, body structure didn't quite match that role there. So, go figure. uh, I I see. Said no. Now to continue, Bruno Rogers. Bruno marched out into position in his costume. Sir, yes, sir. I am the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger from season one of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Oh yeah. They go Power Rangers. Looks like you guys got a lot of green costumes in this room. Oh wait, oh. Looks like you guys got a lot of green costumes in this room, said a female voice. Everyone looked and saw Julie and Naomi in costume. So what are you guys doing here? Said Samuel. Naomi explained. With the teleportation system down, Julie figured we should teleport ourselves over here in case you guys need help. And and since you're heading to the convention, we brought ourselves some costumes, said Julie. Where did you get those from? Asked Brian. It's a costume shop in Kyoto called Sejunyo the Yokai no Katamise, which means Central Fun Store. Oh yeah, that was actually mentioned at the end of book number 10. So that came into play. So that actually did come into play. Yeah. They're open 24 hours a day, said Naomi. Cool. Excuse me, but can I finish? Said Bruno. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, said Julie and Naomi together. Jinx, you owe me a soda. Said Julie. No way. I owed you a soda last time, said Naomi. Now you owe me a soda. I forgot, said Julie. Continue, Bruno. Thank you, said Bruno. I am the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger from season one of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I can teleport, use great martial arts, and with my dragon dagger flute, I can summon the Dragon Zord. Eddie soldiers said no that knows hey and it okay, so it doesn't mention it here, but if there's a Green Ranger, you know what that means. Go Green Ranger! Go Green Ranger! Go, go, go! Goldar's gonna get you tonight. Destroy the Power Rangers and destroy the. Don't let evil Rita put a spell on your mind. Go Green Ranger, go! Go Green Ranger, go Green Ranger, go go go! Yeah, since season one, I'm just sticking with the Rita verse. Yeah, there is another version where they do. You say, "Don't let Lord Zed," because half of season two, they still had Tommy with his Green Ranger powers until Lord Zed took them, and then he came back as the White Ranger. So, and there was a brief moment where they said, "Go White Ranger, go" for a little bit, and then we just got White Ranger Tiger Power, White Ranger Tiger Power, White go White Ranger, go go. Yep. Hey, we are reading the movie book, so yeah, you're getting some songs. Just like in the movie, when they break into songs. Eddie soldier said knows. Julie Yukashi? Julie marched into position in her costume. Sir, yes, sir, she said. I am Supergirl from DC Comics, just like how Casey's like this is a Supergirl from my Superman and Supergirl fan fiction. I'm a I am a Kryptonian with super strength, heat, and X-ray vision, endurance, frost breath, and able to fly. Eddie, soldier said no. Naomi Ricky? Naomi marched out into position in her costume. Sir, yes, sir, she said. I am the 11th Doctor, known as Doctor Who, as as the Doctor from Doctor Who. And Casey was dressed as the 11th Doctor in at the GeekCon there. Hey guys! So, I'm a time traveler with a sonic screwdriver that can scan, overload, burn out, override, detect, activate, and deactivate certain technology. They send out jamming signals and various other things. Eddie soldier said nose. And for the final one, said Floyd, nose in the drum roll, and Floyd said Ellen Rogers. Bruno's mom, of course. Ellen marched out into position in her costume. Sir, yes, sir. I am Mary Poppins from the Disney movie Mary Poppins. And she spoke like Mary Poppins. In case you're all wondering how I could be a superhero, the answer is simple. With my magic bag, flying umbrella, and positive behavior, I can meet the qualifications for such a position. And with that, everyone assembled. Floyd led them to the hero convention. Mm. They, and with Mary Poppins, it's super 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 something 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 super super. Yeah. So we got Bruno dressed up like the Green Ranger. Julia Supergirl here. And Naomi as the Doctor from Doctor Who. And Bruno's mom Ellen as Mary Poppins. Quite a mix for the hero convention there. All right. Chapter 7. The convention surprise. The New Orleans Convention Center was packed with superhero comic fans. Each one was dressed as their favorite superhero. Some of the actors from animated as well as live action versions of different comics were there, and special guests. After a while of socializing and mingling, everyone gathered to the Hero Quest panel for a performance from a singer known as Betty Smiles. Betty Smiles, by the way, was actually supposed to be a character that was meant for Queen Tina. It was another in the Reality Imagination series. This was supposed, for Queen Tina, and I think it was supposed to be a thing with, and like me and Queen Tina, there was a thing with Betty Smiles and Johnson Douglas there. Also, Betty Smiles was actually a identity once used in Kroger Force. Any of y'all who's watched the Kroger Force live streams there, version number 4, Kroger Force version 4, when the one that had a cameo from Miley Cyrus there, and her and Christina's character Cece got switched into each other's bodies. Well, they took on, so Cece had to sing as Hannah Montana and sing to Miley Cyrus. So Miley Cyrus would back her up by taking on the persona of Betty Smiles, and she was in Cece's body. So, yep, that's where. So that was kind of how that character was used even before Reality Imagination. She was known as the Smiling Rainbow because of her rainbow-colored hair. After her brief performance, she introduced the speakers for the panel. All right, everyone, she said, it's time for our special guest speakers to tell you about the Hero Quest game and the surprise. First up are Marty and Gloria Douglas. Everyone applauded as they entered the room and came on stage. Then Betty announced the next speaker. Next is Johnson Gabriel Douglas. Everyone applauded as Johnson entered and came on the stage. Nose looked confused when he saw Johnson. Johnson Gabriel Douglas? He thought to himself, that's the same name as the writer I just met, Gabriel Johnson. It couldn't be. Before Nose could finish his thought, Betty announced the next speaker. Next is Zayden Walker. Everyone applauded as Zayden entered and came out on the stage. The other speakers Betty introduced was Sakura Chu and Tyrone Douglas. She was about to introduce someone else, but Johnson took the mic from her and said, "Well, that's every one of us, folks. Nobody else. There's nobody else." Betty looked confused, but I thought Johnson interrupted. Nope, 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 nope. Nobody else to announce for the panel, so so let's get started, said Zeta. Suddenly, the woman from earlier with the hooded jacket and the shades entered and walked slowly down the middle aisle toward the stage. Nose and Bruno noticed her looking at them as she pulled the shades down to wink her eye. They, she continued heading toward the stage. "I saw that lady before," whispered Bruno to Nose. "Yeah, so have I," Nose whispered back. "I think she likes me." Nose grinned a bit. Yeah. And there's Betty Smiles, the smiling rainbow. And now this is what happened when she enters the stage. Yeah. So it's sort of a little joke that they're playing on this lady there. We're about to find out who she is. Um, the whole this is actually I was when I wrote that I was actually thinking of this in joke between Nostalgia Critic and Linkara. Nostalgia Critic was actually mimicking Linkara and saying that he was Linkara. Then Linkara showed up dressed as the Green Ranger and came up and the doctor was like, "Can I help you, fellow Ranger?" Take your time and get the helmet off everything. So yeah. Johnson noticed the woman approaching the stage and said, "Excuse me, young lady, can we help you?" The woman stepped on the stage and approached Johnson and the others with him. Everyone started to wonder and ponder among themselves what was about to happen at this very moment. Before the big reveal, the Atlantean sisters had just arrived at the Ocean Atlantis Mall, not too far from Bubblina's castle. "All right, girls, time to give ourselves a new look," said Bubblina, "and some costumes for our costume party." The girls jumped and screamed with excitement. "One question, Bubbles," said Crystal. What kind of costume should we do this time?" That's a good question. That is a good question," said Sunrisha. Wait, the girls thought for a moment, and Bubblina got an idea. "I got it," she said. "Why don't we dress up like the other Dream League members?" "Seriously?" asked Alicia. "Yeah," answered Bubblina. "Well, it is something we haven't done before," said Holly. "I call dibs on Sword Girl," said Gina. "I want to do Nightbox," said Crystal. I could be that charming Random X," said Alicia. "He is a real cutie pie." "I suppose I could be Target," said Holly. She thought out loud by mistake. "Kind of reminds me of little Jacob." "Jacob," said Gia. Holly jumped at turning bright pink in embarrassment. "Did I say that out loud?" "Why, yes, you did," said Alicia. "Looks like you have a crush a little between Target and Jacob," said Crystal. "Oh boy. Love triangle." "Who will she choose? Jacob or Target? And will will the one she choose love her back?" Ooh, quite the dilemma. Almost making me think of a video I just recently watched where Joker uh was acting like he was announcing a cliffhanger of a soap opera. "Ooh, do I sense some tension here between will Green Lantern never defuse that bomb? Will Hawk Girl ever admit her true feelings and part from that mace?" "Not on my show." The woman took off her hood and shade and took the microphone from Johnson and said, "Excuse my nutty big brother here. This was a joke he saw on the Knuckleheads." The audience laughed. "I love that show," said Floyd. "Everyone, this is my little sister Diana," said Johnson. So that's everybody on the stage here. Yep. And they're all adults there. Yep. Oh. So actually, since this is the year 2011, and remember, characters like Johnson and Zayden and Sakura, three of them were like 11 in the Reality Imagination series back in '01. So that means that they're 21 now. Taikari was right at 8. So now she's 18. Pretty young there, and I guess knows, which she is an adult, but I guess knows thought she was a little older because of when she had the hood and shades on there. Okay. As we Then he continued. Well, let's begin. As we suspect all of you want to know about the Hero Quest virtual game. Before I talk about that, let me tell you a little bit about all of us. First of all, we were all born and raised here in Shreveport. And in 2004, we moved to Hollywood, California to learn about animation and graphic designs. So let's see. So 2001, they were 11. So, in high school, they moved to Hollywood, California there. Hmm. While we were there, we wrote down a lot of things that were happening to us. And eventually we got together and came up with the idea to publish our own writings. As So far, we have two books that are written called The Mysterious Adventures of Reality Imagination. It's canon. the books type and the book titles, they are Weird Yet Normal Day and To Boldly Go Beyond It All. The series is based on actual events that happen in our lives that will be very hard to explain beginning from 2001 up to now. And the Hero Quest games are a combination of the first two books. So, and of course, they got a picture of the books. Connected. Zayden noticed the girl in the audience raising her hand. Yes, you have a question? Yeah. The girl stood up. Can you tell us a little about the books? Zayden explained. Well, the first book involved this evil game boss we defeated from a virtual game we played in 2001. However, this game boss somehow came into the real world and caused all kinds of trouble, so we got together and defeated him again, but it wasn't easy. Tiana continued. And the second book, the team had to journey to another dimension in space to rescue me. And once they did, I helped them take down an entire robotic organization that was enslaving the planets in that dimension. Everyone marveled in amazement. And Sakura saw a man raising his hand. What is your question, sir? She asked. So, are you guys like superheroes or something? Asked the man. Not exactly, said Sakura. We never thought of ourselves as superheroes, but we do call ourselves the Conquerors. I came up with the name, said Tiana. And she never lets us forget it, said Tyrone. Tiana grinned as the audience laughed a bit. After that, the man said, totally righteous dudes. That's like an awesome name. The word of God ensures that we're all conquerors when we trust in God. Like totally. Amen to that, said Marty. Once the man sat down, Marty noticed the boy raising his hand. Yes, young man, what's your question? Are you like a sensei to the conquerors? Asked the boy. Marty thought for a moment and said, well, I suppose you could say that. In a way, I trained them all to be able to take on every adventure they encountered, just like Bruce Lee taught Jackie Chan. In fact, I gave old Jackie Chan a few moves of my own. And Marty! Exclaimed them all. Marty, okay, maybe I didn't exactly do that, but I could do some of his moves a little bit. Like, I've got a lot of karate moves myself, said Sammy the nose together unintentionally. It's like, when they realized that they both tried to speak first, but ended up saying it together. I say, oh, both of them say, I gotta figure out this myself. Jinx, you owe me a soda. No, I don't, said Sam, because I was able to swing you down by surprise. Now you owe me two sodas. Oh, fickle sticks, said Nose. Brian raised his hand to ask a question. Gloria knows him. And what is your question? I was wondering, is Miss Betty in the stories? So Betty answered, well, I'm not in these two books, but after a while you will be reading their first encounter with me. Okay. People continued to ask questions, but unknown to everybody, there was an odd figure waiting, watching everyone through the roof of the convention center. Uh-oh. It'll sound like about to get some party crashes in a minute. But first, chapter 8, a break for peace and romance. Because in every movie, you gotta have some romance. Most every movie. Ethan and Ethan and Yolanda were having a great time with each other on their date at the Basil Meadows a conversation. During their conversation, Yolanda found out that Ethan knew Calvin's secret identity as Madam X and what happened before she moved from Egypt to Shreveport. Hey, your story, sir. Your story sounds a lot like the son who left home in Luke chapter 15, verse 11, through 22, said Ethan. Really? Said Yolanda. I've heard that story before, but I'm a little fuzzy on the details. Ethan briefly explained. Well, the son decided to go out and live on his own and do whatever he wanted. He spent his money foolishly and eventually ran out. So he got a job feeding pigs, which didn't pay much, and he became homeless and hungry. After a while, he realized his mistake that he made and came back home. Father was so happy to see him that he threw a big party for him to celebrate. Yolanda blushed and smiled a bit. Sounds like what my dad did when I came back to him. Well, he was definitely glad to see you. Well, it kind of surprised me when I left home and ran away to Egypt to marry Ammon. He was really upset about it. Then, when Nero helped Calvin and I escape from him and his crazy plan to enslave the world, he offered to bring me back to my dad, and I wanted to say yes, but I thought my dad wouldn't want me back after what I had said and done to him. Somehow Nero sensed what I was thinking, and he said he would take me to live with a friend of his in Shreveport till the time was right. Well, my dad and my dad and I became friends with Euro 10 years ago, after God called me to be a minister during my junior year in high school. You were that young? That's right. Euro was sent to train me, and I confessed to the ministry after I graduated. Hmm, that's an interesting little story there. After a while later, after dinner, Ethan took Yolanda to the to an area in the Boulder mini city called the Circle of Peace. Boulder mini. This is supposed to be their version of the boardwalk that we have in Boulder City. Many people would come here to relax and feel at peace. There were also many couples on the bridge admiring the view of the Red River, enjoying the peaceful moment with each other while soft, serene music played. The Atlantean sisters arrived there in the area in their civilian forms after shopping to enjoy the peaceful atmosphere while checking out some cute guys their age. All the girls were breathtaken by the sights around them. Nothing like relaxing in such a peaceful circle, said Melody. And here we have, Yolanda and Ethan on their date here. The waitress and everything, take them to the table there. And here's the girls from the Atlantean sisters in both at the, they call it the Boulder Mini City, but it's actually the boardwalk, yeah. And some of those backgrounds that actually is from the boardwalk. Yeah, you said it. You said it, Melody, said Harmony. This is the first time I've been to this place, said Zoe. We come here a lot to relax, said Ebony. The girls took a deep breath to marinate in the moment. Beautiful, they all said. At that moment, some slow dance music was playing. Bella looked around and asked, I wonder if any of the boys will ask us to dance. Like, there was a pause of silence, and Ivory said boldly, if they won't ask, we'll just have to ask ourselves. Come on, girls. And all the girls went off to find the boy to dance with. In Ebony, Ivory, and Harmony's search, they noticed Yolanda dancing with Ethan, but they couldn't see Ethan's face clearly. I wonder if that's Calvin's mom, said Ebony. Like, looks like it. She has the same eyes and similar hair and fashion sense, said Harmony. He's definitely a mama's boy. well, well, those types really know how to treat a lady, said Ebony. So you got that right, said Ivory. I'm guessing the guy she's dancing with must be his dad. About that. Sounds right, said Harmony. Meanwhile, they Melody, Bella, and Zoe searched. They noticed two boys looking out at the boats. Melody and Bella recognized them and blushed like crazy. I can't believe Christian is here, said Melody. And his brother Jacob, said Bella. So yeah, they see Yolanda with Ethan here, dancing there. And there's Christian and his little brother Jacob there. Mm. Then Christian say that's Christian and Jacob, said Zoe. They are cute. And in the Bubblina series, in the Bubblina series that written by Christina for that universe, yeah, where Bubblina's civilian name is Melissa, yeah, she does have a boy that she has a crush on, but Christina simply but she named him Chris, as in short for Christopher. So yeah, that's the only slight difference there. Yeah. Then Christian and Jacob glanced toward the three, smiled and waved at them. Melody and Bella got real nervous and started shaking. He saw me, Melody and Bella said together. What do I do? Zoe then shoved the two of them toward Christian and Jacob. Go on and talk to them, she said. Once they got there, Christian looked at the girls and instantly knew who they were. So did Jacob. So, how are you, princess? And that was the thing. Okay, so this is kind of also explains another reason why when I after writing Heroes of Dream, when I started writing the comic books like Star Striker 2017, why eventually Christina just said, well, I'm going to take Bubblina and just make it, a separate universe from what I was doing with Star Striker. At first, the comic series of Star Striker was actually going to be sort of like a different, just a slightly different format for Heroes of Dreams. But sort of like translating the Railway series from Reverend W. Audrey into Thomas and Friends there. But over time, I think after like the first few books of Star Striker, there's like Star Striker was kind of like it fit more with him and Angela being a thing in that series. Almost like he was telling me to do that. An interesting thing, someone asked, are you writing the character or is the character telling you what to write? So in a way, I guess you could say he sort of told me like, hey, Gabe, I know you and Christina, I know what you're trying to do with you and Christina, and Bubblina's cool. There's a real beautiful, real cool, but I'm really digging Angela now. I just seem like I got a good chemistry with Angela, and that's how it's been ever since, and now for Yumi. So and like I say, we will now Yumiko as well as the new Supreme Star Striker series. We're gonna see it. There is going to gonna be kind of little spoiler alert. Yeah, we I know at the moment they're Star and Flora, are sort of hanging out just as friends at the moment. But yeah, it's gonna be Angela's gonna come into the picture there. But how it'll happen and what the results will be like, you'll have to continue. If there's a slightly in Yumiko, but also in the new Supreme Star Striker series that'll be coming soon. Yeah, it's almost like Spider-Man going from Gwen Stacy to Mary Jane there. So, yeah. All right, instantly, and I know we got some people that are like, well, I like Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy, or I like Peter Parker and Mary Jane, and a lot of the people that like Gwen Stacy better really hate on Mary Jane. There's some, not all of them, but some of them. So yeah, just a warning. Look, if you like Peter X Gwen, that's if they go ahead. You like Peter X Mary Jane, still good. Or maybe Peter and Black Cat, but or Felicia Harding. But whichever shipping you like, let's keep it respectable in the comments section. I want to see no wars in there because I brought this up. So, okay, you got to text BJ. Wonder where he's been this. Wonder where he's been tonight. There, probably out saving the days. Well, maybe is they out saving the day or shooting another movie production. Melody giggled. Oh, and I got somebody in here who just gave a like there. I wonder who that could be. What's up, BJ? EJS in the house. Aye, aye, Captain. Oh, who just came in this chat room under the sea? The one EJS. Because you put I there. Okay. Let me guess. Another movie production. I know we probably can't say what it is here because we don't want to spoil nothing. But I'm just assuming. I'm just making that assumption there. I know you try to make it big, buddy. Yeah. So, all right. So let's get back into this here. Melody giggled as she managed to say, "Hi, Christian." She paused a moment and continued to say, "Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Well, we're still here for a little bit, man. Mel, Melody giggled. Okay, I didn't expect to see you here. Well, I brought Jacob here to look at the boat," said Christian. "Really?" Bella managed to speak despite her being more bashful than Melody. You like boats, Jacob?" Like, "Yeah, they're really cool," said Jacob, "especially the real huge ones." Oh, okay, it's just a reminder alert. Okay. Yeah. Melody then thought about what Ivory said earlier. Christian is okay. I was wondering if you would like to dance. Christian said, finishing her question. Hmm. Melody nodded yes, and Christian agreed, and the two went off to dance into a dance area. Holly then asked Jacob, um, "Would you like to dance with me?" "I don't know how to dance yet," said Jacob. "Like, if you like, I could teach you." But Jacob thought about it. "Nah, I'd rather look at some more of these boats." Well, he is young. Because I think because Melody, all them are like 8 years old. And they mentioned that Jacob was like 6. So Holly was a little disappointed, but she didn't let it bother her. Oh, okay. Is it okay if I watch with you? Sure. At that moment, a boy came to Zoe and asked her to dance. I wonder if we'll hear about this later on. She accepted and went off to dance with him. The other girls also found guys to dance with, and Holly watched the boats with Jacob. Eventually, Holly became as uh, amazed as Jacob was at the different boats. Hmm. One day I want to sell the world on one of those boats, said Jacob. Possibly own my own. You'll definitely have many adventures, said Holly. I know, said Jacob. Maybe I'll battle pirates. Find a lot of hidden treasures just like Peter Pan. Peter Pan, you say? Holly giggled a bit and said, well, I suppose I could be the pretty damsel you would have to rescue from those pirates. Jacob got really excited. Oh, yeah, like Wendy or Tiger Lily? And when you rescue me, started Holly. She began to look at Jacob in a dreamy way as she continued. You could whisk me away and I would give you a kiss for a job well done. Jacob was speechless and he didn't know what to say. And I think Jacob's kind of representing like the little boys that not really. Not saying that there's a no. He's not, and he's not. It's not that he's like, ooh, she got cooties. No, not quite like that. But you got some guys that become a little awkward when it comes to romantic talk. There, like yeah, they kind of yeah, it's sort of like huh, what, huh. So yeah, you got that there. Oh, awkward. There's a You got Melody and Christian. Boy, these girls are really got their makeup on there. Almost kind of make me think of something from Mulan there. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Question. Yeah. I mean, if you try to make things work there, Holly, you might probably gonna need a little patience for this little one there. I'm just saying. Chapter 9: Dimensional Chaos. Mm. Suddenly, at the New Orleans Convention Center, after the Hero Quest panel was almost finished, a man in a mysterious cloak barged in and marched on the stage. He took the microphone from Johnson and said, "You all like comic books? I'm about to put every one of you in one." Oh. Everyone pondered and looked at each other confused what the man said. The very next minute, he fired a blast at the floor which sent everyone flying back a few feet. Once they got up, the man disappeared, and an army of dragons known as Taffy Dragons started blasting the outside of the convention center. Bruno and his parents huddled together with Nose, Samuel, Brian, Calvin, and Riley. Taffy Dragons. So, if they're Taffy Dragons, will they shake that laffy taffy? Laffy taffy. Mm, yeah. That's the mysterious man there in the hood robe and he disappears. And that's all the taffy dragons there. Oh boy. So mm, we gotta do something. We gotta do something quick, said Samuel. I can help get the I can help get the people to safety, said Nose. Back at the Circle of Peace, all the couples were that were dancing happily gazed into each other's eyes. Bella noticed this. Feeling happy herself, she was about to give Jacob a surprise kiss on the cheek while he gazed in amazement at the really large boats passing by. But before she could, she noticed a portal in the sky. Darn it! I wanted at least let her get the kiss. A large spear was launched out of the portal into the Red River with a huge splash that washed some of the people nearby back a few feet, completely soaking them. Oh boy. Meanwhile, Nose, Bruno, Floyd, and Ellen had guided everyone to safety, and Star Striker, Sword Girl, Vanamex, Nightfox, and Dashtail rushed outside into action against the Taffy Dragons. They started off good, but more Taffy Dragons attacked stronger than the previous ones, and eventually the heroes found themselves stuck in large globs of taffy. Then the man from earlier entered and took off his cloak, revealing his true form. It's Catatron from the Ultraman comic, said Star Striker. And yeah, so about Catatron. So I made him a villain. They say for the Ultra Cat comics. Pretty much, Ultra Cat is pretty much like their version of Superman. So that makes Catatron sort of like Metallo. However, now I'd have to. It's been a while since me and Nisha have talked with each other there. So, and I know she wrote one book of Dora, and in there she took the character Catatron and made Catatron into a evil cat fairy that would face off with Dora. Um, so yeah, so I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know if she's still got. Like I said, I don't know if she one day plans to come back to that or just what. But yeah, if I ever get in contact with her at any point, because like I say, been kind of like I say, been thinking pretty busy. Because there's some other people I'm trying to that like I say outside of the Miracle Crew and about my family and stuff like that. There's some other people that I need to get in contact with as well for other things there. So yeah, it's so like I say, if I ever get around to that, I would definitely want to get in contact to see just to clarify if she is going to come back to that, or is like, well, nah, gay, because I'm kind of into this and stuff like that. So yeah, just to make sure there. And another thing about Catatron, originally from the very beginning, before I even started writing books, Catatron was actually the name of my character that I made up for myself. If I was in Beast Wars, I would be a cat transformer called Catatron. Catatron, maximize! Except I'd be a black cat transformer, and I imagine when they got to the Transmetals, like in season 2 and 3 of Beast Wars, the Transmetal mode of Catatron would look like Garfield mixed with Transmetal armor. So, yeah, go figure. Catatron was a ferocious silver android male cat. They, you, they, you knew heroes were a better challenge than Ultra Cat. He said, but unlike him, you won't win against me. Yeah, kind of imagining Jim Cunning's voice coming out of him, for Darkwing Duck, Negaduck, and also Cat from Cat Dog there. They, excuse me. So what make excuse me, yeah. What makes you think that, you metallic jerk? Asked Dashtail. Catatron fired sour milk at all the taffy globs that the heroes were stuck in. You'll need more than that to beat us, said Target. Hey, you're right, said Catatron. That's not just sour. Hey, welcome back, EJ. You're in the middle of the action here. Heroes are in a bit of a jam with taffy dragons and Catatron, pretty much a cat version of Metallo from Superman. Oh boy. Matter of fact, I'll go and show the pictures there. Yeah, the heroes are in kind of a bind there. And yeah, there's a bit of a spoiler. Okay, there's Catatron there. And a bit of a spoiler, yeah, the warriors from Reality Imagination are about to show up in a minute. Yeah. Mm. Let's see. So it's say you'll need say you're right. He's Catatron. This isn't just sour milk. It's mixed with poison and acid. Say soon he'll eat through the taffy and slowly eliminate all of you. Also, sour milk was radioactive sour milk is the weakness of Ultra Cat, like Kryptonite to Superman. I I like to watch my victims suffer slowly. Catatron gave an evil laugh as the milk burned through the taffy. So remember like when they revealed Negaduck in the 2017 DuckTales. They want dark and gritty, huh? Happy to play the part. The heroes tried to get out, but it was no use. Just when it seemed like the end, five lights shine brightly through. Soon everyone saw five warriors in different color, in each in a different color uniform: red, blue, green, yellow, and lavender. And in no time at all, they quickly defeated the Taffy Dragons and Catatron. After that, they freed the heroes from the Taffy Globs. And let's see, okay. Oh, there's a line there. Meanwhile, the Atlantean sisters had transformed into their Atlantean forms and used the force fields they used in the space that morning to fly down into the whirlpool and find the source, which was revealed to be a red android elephant using her trunk to create the whirlpool. It's Eladrain from the Deep Sea Man comics, said Bubblina. If she continues this, the whirlpool this if she continues this whirlpool, the people on those ships above will be in serious danger. Leave it to me, said Crystal. She took out a diamond out of her pocket and made the exterior and appearance of her hand become like the diamond. Then she threw the diamond into Eladrain's trunk, stopping the whirlpool. Diamond Fist! Crystal punched Eladrain's jaw hard, knocking her back a few feet. There. Yep, those were the colors there. They red, blue, green, yellow, and lavender. How 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 dare you? Sorry, Eladrain. She fired the diamond out of her trunk at the girls. Backlash punch, said Gina, punching the diamond back toward Eladrain. Eladrain dodged the punch, but the force from the punch hit her head. Red, right? Oh, yeah. The different colors there. Now you got Eladrain here. And the girl's punching her, of course. Green. Oh, yeah, green. The different powers there. And the range of power. Hmm. Oh, you got different emojis with it there. Okay, cool. Hmm. Okay. Lavender Ranger. And in Wilder, we have an orange warrior. So, Aurora, Aura Freeze, said Holly and Alicia together. Holly fired her Aurora Blast, and Alicia made the temperature around it freezing cold. When it hit Eladrain, she was frozen solid. Ready, Bubbles? said Sunrisha. Ready when you are, said Bubblita. Cover your ears, everyone. Once Holly, Gina, and Alicia and Gina covered their ears, Bubblita and Sunrisha shouted, Ultrasonic shot! Shout! Their shout emitted a sound wave strong enough to break Eladrain to pieces. Ouch! Just as the girls were about to celebrate their victory, they got sucked in some portals, causing them to separate. Yeah. Like, uh-oh. Yeah, 'cause you know mermaids got hypersonic voices there. Hmm. The warriors were actually Johnson, Sakura, Zayden, Tiana, and Tyrone, and they knew the civilian identities of the current Dream League. Mm. Remember, Star Striker, Target, Sword Girl, Night Fox, Dashtail, and Venom X were in shock. How do you know who we are, X Star? Well, when we first moved to Hollywood, started Johnson, started looking at a started looking at a show called Static Shock. I became inspired to make my own superhero adventures. I came up with Star Striker, also known as Samuel Lee Princeton, and his partner Target, also known as Brian Robinson. Eventually, they would meet Sword Girl, who was also Julie Yukashi, and Banamex, also as Calvin Waynes. And wait, let me guess, Bubblina, who's also Melody Lee Smith, said Target. Not quite, said Johnson. Her name was Angela Adams, who was also known as Bubble Girl. So this is a reference to the 2004 Star Striker Dream League series here. Kind of ironic. We're having all this in canon universe of Heroes and Dreams. There's so many connections here. It's like the universes are really colliding here. Of course, Bubblina would sound more feminine and original, said Tiana. That's a good point, said Night Fox. As Johnson continued explaining more, Dashdale became captivated by Sakura, and in his mind, she was a glowing golden beauty. Noticing the gazing look on Dashdale's face, Sword Girl asked, "Are you okay, Dashdale?" Dashdale didn't hear Sword Girl. He accidentally spoke his thoughts out loud. "You're as beautiful as Miss Flowers." Miss Flowers, says Sword. Dashdale snapped to attention. Well, Suddenly, everyone heard it. Evil laughter echoed throughout the area. They stood in they stood in suspenseful silence as they saw an orange reddish skinned creature in bronze and silver armor approach them. Star Striker recognized this creature. It's Backbite. Backbite spoke. "So, you are the defenders of this dimension. Once I defeat you all, I'll be able to get what I need and take over this dimension and other dimensions as I please." "Of course," shouted a voice. The voice came from a 6-year-old boy with an extremely colorful costume. So Dashtail kind of got a little crush on Sakura there. And there's Backbite, the big villain of this big book there, sort of like the Thanos dark side of the story there. And actually, let me go. I did actually that villain was actually created by the same by Antonio Vance, who also, as I mentioned in an earlier video, came up with Nose there. So yeah, so he actually created this villain. Now his partner. This is my assistant Warp Tag, said Backbite. Yeah, now I came up with Warp Tag now, but yeah, Antonio came up with Backbite, and also a little something that Backbite uses that he's about to mention. This is my assistant Warp Tag. This little boy has been very useful in helping me with my plan. The gravity straw, said Target. I see you're very knowledgeable about me, said Backbite. This will really put a smile on my face. Night Fox and Sword Girl look confused. The gravity straw? Star Striker explained. In the Ultra Cat comics, a planet made of pure energy called Backbiters exploded, and the impact of the explosion destroyed Ultra Cat's home planet Furon. The fragments of the destroyed planet floated toward the sun, creating the formation of Backbite. He's made of pure cosmic and solar energy and is known to be totally unstoppable. In the end of issue number 15 of Ultra Cat Comics, Backbite created a humongous device in space called the gravity straw. So that's the Antonio also came up with that. Backbite's ultimate weapon, the gravity straw. Uh, His original attempt was to cause the Earth to spin backwards, but the device malfunctioned and caused the Earth to stop spinning completely. Once Backbite saw the effects it had on the Earth, he was still pleased at the device, despite the malfunctioning, and took advantage of the people on Earth being almost totally devastated. And after a brief tour, he began to rule the Earth. That whole Earth rotation sort of make me think of the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, reverse time. Target continued. However, Ultra Cat gathered the IT comic book heroes together: Food Cat, Food Bear, Double O Cat, Number Woman, Super A, Super B, the Alpha, and the other along with the Alpha Guardians, Stretch Girl, Eagle Man, and Deep Sea Man. Together, they formed the Fantasy League to take Backbite down, like the Justice League taking down Darkseid or the Avengers taking down Thanos. There's Warp Tag right there, kind of like almost like he wearing some lightsabers, the candy, and that's the gravity straw. It looks, yeah, I know it looks like a tank, but that's what he calls it, the gravity straw. And all the IT comic superheroes for this universe that gathered to form the Fantasy League. Yeah. But thanks to me, he was able to escape, said Warp Tag. What do you mean? Asked Dashdale. Warp Tag explained. I come from an Earth in another dimension. A year ago, some scientists experimented on me, and the experiment would allow with anyone the power to pass through any dimension at will. However, the machine they used for the experiment went out of control and zapped me into a barrage of portals. I passed through several dimensions and worlds really fast, and when I finally stopped, I learned how to control my powers. Eventually, Backbite came and was impressed with my powers. He promised if I helped him with his plan, I would be able to I would be at his side to help him rule over every universe. you bad you bad guys are so typical and predictable, said Vanamat. Well, so are you superheroes, said Warp Tag. I predict you're gonna try and stop us, but you won't. Warp Tag was interrupted when Dashtail and Tiana rushed toward him at super speed and gave him a double punch. Ow. Yeah, you may have predicted it, but you didn't yeah, but your gloating prevented you from being able to dodge. What were you saying? Asked Dashtail and Tiana together. They high-fived each other. But Backbite grabbed them and said, it'll take more than one cheap shot from each of you. Well, how about an expensive shot? Asked Vanamex, taking out a gold dollar out of his pocket. He threw it at Backbite. Touch of Midas. The gold dollar hit Backbite's forehead, and he instantly turned into a pile of gold dollars, causing Tiana and Dashtail to be free from his grip. Whoa. Now that's a magic trick. Warp Tag saw what happened, got up and saw what happened. Warping Smasher! Opening portals under all the heroes, sending them crashing into each other. And then he laughed at everyone groaning it from the impacts. You think that's funny? Exclaimed Sword Girl, jumping up. Target got up as well. How about this? How about this, little boy? Target catchers. Target fired his target catchers at Warp Tag, which captured him on contact. Psychic barrage, said Sword Girl. She used her psychic powers to levitate the gold dollars and have them fire at Warp Tag. And warping reverse, said Warp Tag with a grin. He opened more portals and sent the dollars back at Sword Girl. He sort of Warp Tag sort of remind me of a colorful version. You remember this villain, the Spot from the '90s, from the animated '90s Spider-Man series. I am the Spot. You remember that villain that was in a brief episode there? Hmm. Star Sword, Battle Blade out. Said Star as he took out his Star Sword and spun it around fast enough to deflect the dollars. I'll stop it from moving, said Night Fox. Night, flash freeze. She held out her hands toward Warp Tag, and in a flash of light, he was covered in so much frost he couldn't move. Great job, said Sakura. Thanks. Now we can both finish. Now we can both finish them off and get them out of here, said Ty. Suddenly, everyone noticed the gold dollars raising up into the sky and glowing red as Backbite laughed sinisterly. You can't, you can't beat us that easily, he said. KO Fury. The gold dollars became powerful forces of energy that blasted all the heroes instantly and caused them to revert back to their civilian forms, almost like demorphing. Backbite was pleased with his success and made a huge red portal pull everybody in. Whoa! Let's see. I'm trying to. Okay, I'm gonna read one. I'm gonna read one more chapter before I close this out. Cause I'm in chapter 10 there. Since I read 5 chapters in part 2. Yeah, that kind of keep an even divide there. The Dream, Chapter 10, The Unknown Universe. The Dream League and the Conquerors ended up in a void space. Backbite projected a hologram of himself to communicate with everybody. For anyone who doesn't know, who hasn't met me yet, my name is Backbite, he said. I welcome you to your game of your demise. What have you done, asked Samuel. Backbite chuckled as he continued. Listen carefully at what I'm about to say. I'll be sending you heroic defenders into a game that some of you might be familiar with, Hero Quest. The game we invented, said Johnson. That's correct, said Backbite. What diabolical scheme are you planning, you fiend? Asked Tiana. I'm gonna make a deal with all of you. What makes you think we would accept a deal from you? Said Riley. Because you don't really have much of a choice. He showed the images of different planets and other dimensions that Warp Tag and he came from. The civilians you were trying to protect at both the New Orleans Convention Center and the area called the Circle of Peace have been sent to these different planets in this dimension. If you want to get them all back in your dimension safely, you'll accept my generous offer. And what kind of offer is that? Asked Julie. Backbite grinned and said, I set the game to my liking. If you manage to win, Warp Tag and I will return everything and everyone back the way they were before we arrived. But if you lose or refuse to pay or refuse to play, you will all do whatever I command and be destroyed. Now prepare to start the game that you may possibly never win. On that note, the Dream League and the Conquerors were sent in the different directions. Meanwhile, Nose, Floyd, and Ellen woke up on a planet known as Phineas in another dimension. They saw lots of lakes and ponds with the planet's natives relaxing in them. The natives were frog-like aliens called the Phineas from the Reality and Imagination series. Welcome to the planet Phineas, said one of the Phineas to Nose, Floyd, and Ellen. My name is Paul, and you're in our Phinean Central Park. Wait, the planet Phineas, you say? Asked Floyd. That's right. I reckon you're all from Earth. Is it this one or from another? Is it from this dimension or is it from another? Well, another, I suppose, said Nose. Yeah, I think so, said Ellen. Sounds right to me, said Floyd. Meanwhile, Johnson and Naomi woke up in one of the areas of the game, which appeared to be Johnson's parents' house back in Shreveport. You okay? Johnson asked Naomi. I think so, said Naomi. Suddenly, she noticed Johnson looked younger and slightly different. Is that you, Johnson's son? Yeah, it's me, replied Johnson. You look a lot smaller. Looks like they've been revert. So Johnson and his friends have been have been reverted back into their kid form from 10 years ago. Almost like when the Power Rangers got turned into kids. Yeah. You remember that? Remember those episodes there, right, EJ? Especially the Alien Ranger saga. Mhm. Johnson looked at his reflection in the TV screen, and he noticed he looked the way he did when he was 11 years old. That's strange, he said. Naomi was about to ask another question until some dark, grim Reaper dressed soldiers busted in. Johnson recognized them and said to Naomi, those are Z Shadow soldiers. He got Naomi behind him and concentrated. After that, he held out his hands and shouted, Blizzard Twister! Once Johnson held out his hands, he emitted a very cold tornado, sucking the Z Shadow soldiers in it and turning them to black dust. Naomi was surprised and impressed. How'd you do that? She asked. Before Johnson could answer, Samuel entered. Everyone all right? He asked. Johnson and Naomi looked at Samuel and were suddenly confused. Yeah, we are, said Naomi. Did you put on a new kind of face paint for your costume? Looks realistic, like you're an actual cat. Samuel became confused. I didn't put on any new face paint. Suddenly he felt his face and he noticed his face felt like real cat fur. After that, he rushed into the mirror in the bathroom. Once he got a look at his reflection, he saw he had turned into Food Cat. Oh my gosh, how did this happen? That's Johnson blowing the enemies away with his blizzard twister. And Samuel is now has now turned into Food Cat. There. Oh boy. So it looks like they have become the characters they were cosplaying, some of them. Attention, Dream League and Conqueror, said a voice. Everyone got quiet and listened. The voice could be heard in all areas the Dream League and Conquerors were scattered in. This is Hero. I have some important information regarding your situation. When Backbite scattered you all here, he cut off your abilities to use your powers, but unknown to him, I was able to block his effect on the Conquerors. As for the Dream League members, Samuel, Julie, Brian, Naomi, Calvin, and Riley, you will be able to use the abilities and powers of the superheroes you were dressed as at the Hero Convention. I have something else in mind for the Atlantean sisters, but this should help you all succeed in getting back together and getting the Backbite and Warp Tag in order to reclaim your original powers and defeat him. And soon you'll be joined by another hero that you may have met before. Now show Backbite what you can all do. Meanwhile, back on Phineas, three Finian approach Nose, Floyd, and Ellen, and they motioned for them to come with them to their special base. The Finians were named Krog, Argon, and Egog. After introducing themselves to Nose, Floyd, and Ellen, they explained what was going on. We, re- we received several visions recently, started Krog. One vision told us about you and your allies, as well as our old friends, being in need of help. So, you know what's going on back on Earth, asked Ellen? Like all the comic book villains that our son and friends read about coming to life, said Floyd. And how I ended up in all this action, said Nose. Yes, indeed, said Krog. Egog continued explaining. Well, first of all, as you're aware, our planet is made up of many planets in a dimension fueled by an unknown universe of pure imagination. Sounds like a hint to Yumiko before I even started writing Yumiko. Imagination, Floyd, Ellen, and Nose said together. That's right. After God's creation of the human race, every one of them developed their own ideals, dreams, and imagination. And over the years, it created an unknown universe that started creating various things. For example, the Egyptians and the Romans created the gods and goddesses, the lowercase g ones. Later on, people created myths and fairy tales that brought forth places like Atlantis. And once technology was introduced, people had dreams and ideals of various futures involving the advancement of their technology, and from that, different planets like ours were created. That's exactly in the first book of Yumiko. Hmm. So it looks like we got worlds connected, that other universes um in play before I started writing Yumiko. So the multiverse has been in effect ever since I started writing. And also, there's a theory. I don't know if you ever watched the 2017 Ducktales, but there's a theory that every work of fiction is actually a window to another world, I mean, to another universe. Hmm. So think about that. Anytime you write your fan fiction, TV show, anything like that, it's another universe. That's Crawl continued more. The stronger the ideals, imagination, and dreams became, the more things from the unknown universe would grow and possibly become real. Like what's been going on recently, said Nose. Hey, Krog nodded and said, well, here's what happened. About a year ago, a kid from this dimension's Earth was kidnapped from an orphanage and used as a test subject for a portal experiment. We're not sure what they were trying to accomplish, but as a result, the kid became infused with the ability to go freely in any dimension he chose. He called himself Warp Tag and started using his powers to play tricks on people. Eventually, one of his pranks brought Backbite into existence. Backbite made a deal with Warp Tag. If Warp Tag could gather the energy needed for his invention called the Gravity Straw, he would allow Warp Tag to be at his side and help him rule every universe. And there's a brief moment of silence. It's not easy being green. So, all right. So that's what we got for tonight there. Cause I know it's getting late there. Gotta get some rest for tomorrow. We'll be starting the chapter 11 tomorrow night. Woo, where the game begins. So yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow night. I might I know regular time is meant to be 8 o'clock. We were kind of late starting tonight. But if possible, I might possibly start a little earlier than 8, maybe like 7 o'clock or something like that. So just be kind of watching the community tab, like I say, just in case I pop up on here around 7. But if not, yeah, it'll be the regular time at 8. So just depends on what happens tomorrow. But we will be here though. So yeah, we definitely got to read more. So yep. So we'll be back here, and like I say, definitely like, share, subscribe, and get our available books. Hit us up on Patreon, just like Iceman Universe, and show him some love for his reactions to Ed, Nettie, Courage, Naruto, One Piece, Spy Family, and all right. See you later, EJ. As well as also Hey Arnold. Also support the Miracle Crew, like yours truly, Queen Tina, Big Sis Case, and EJ the Supreme. And also, just like you hang out with us in the live streams, hang out on Discord and Facebook, and we can tell each other on the McCary app. And we'll see you all later. Y'all take care, everybody. Peace out. Oh, drop the button down there.